Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tim Murray, and you're watching Slumber Party Live today with a very special guest, one of the funniest people in the whole freaking world. Someone that I met in LA, I want to say 2 years ago, maybe. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Arisce Wanzer.
Hello.
um, how are you?
I'm good. Same shit, different day, clearly. You know, American Revolution. I love it.
Just a casual in the middle of a Thursday revolution.
Oh, absolutely. There's a protest happening right down the road. I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Yes, and you remain very booked, killing it.
Oh, it has been you know what? I have never been more needed in my life, and at least in entertainment, because I'm so intersectional, because feminist, woman, queer issues, trans woman, Black Lives Matter, Black woman. And so it's like I'm all three of those things. So they're all like in an even scale of oppressed right in my head. Right now, Black Lives Matter is the one that matters the most because that's the house that's on fire. And so I'm going to be putting out that fire first. And so, yeah, at this time, we are thinking of that house. So, yeah, like this All Lives Matter crowd, I'm like, girl, this house is on fire. All the other houses in the neighborhood are fine. We can move to this
I
house right now.
yeah. Isn't it so wild? Somebody on Twitter was like, I'm really tired of having to use metaphors to explain to white people why black people shouldn't be killed. Like
Right? Right?
the house on fire thing is so true and it's so real, but it's like, God, my fellow white people, why do you need it to be spelled out in these kindergarten terms for you to understand why it's not cool to
It's
kill
the
black people?
definition. It's the definition of privilege. Like you have the privilege to just turn the other cheek. I could never turn the other cheek because I'm totally black.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't let's say I'm not profiled, like I'm not racially profiled by police because my skin color gives me that privilege to where they don't think they see a brown person. But I'm very much culturally and biologically a brown person. Both my parents are black people too. So I was raised like a black person because I'm a black person. And so those injustices are things that I've seen from a very young age. Like I've been in the car with my cousins and they get pulled over for no reason and they're like, oh, sorry, you fit the profile. And I'm like, what profile? What happened? Like we're just shopping, like we're minding our own business. And all of these experiences, they kind of go unchecked. And I never thought to really complain about them because we're also used to them. Like these little microaggressions from society, like, oh, you're pretty for a black girl. And you're like, that was not a compliment. That was a backhanded compliment because I'm actually just pretty, if you want to say that, like because you just called the rest of my race ugly. You know, like that's
Yeah.
literally what you just said. It's like and it's because it's my race, not because they are actually ugly. It's because they're black, you're the exception and not the rule. And that's where we've got to start checking ourselves. That kind of language is not a thing. Like it's not a thing. It should have never been a thing. Stop talking down to people with these microaggressions.
It's wild. You're 100%. I'm so glad to be talking to you right now and all the time because you're just so fucking
Love you.
smart and wonderful. But yeah, it's just really like it's one of those things where like I'm a white person. I know I have to continue to check myself and I have to learn and grow. And it's like, wow, I know I have so fucking far to go. And it, I consider myself to be like a very liberal person. Obviously, I've lived in New York City and I've lived in LA and like I've lived in Miami. Like I know a lot of different types of people. So then I think about like my white ass upbringing in Ohio, and I'm like, fuck, I know I have a bunch of shit to still learn and do and stop making microaggressions against people because I know that I do it. I'm sure that I do it, and I need to keep checking myself. But then I think about like how far these people that I see on my Facebook that are still posting like all lives matter and shit like that is like, wow, that whole side, that whole other half of the country so has so fucking far to go.
It's nuts. And the thing is, you don't have to be, it is crazy because you don't have to be so close to change. Like when you learn new information. And so like I've been checking myself recently, like just racist thoughts you have like inside, you've got to start checking yourself for. Like, let's say I'm in the car and like someone cuts me off and they're Asian, and I'm like, of course. I'm like, ooh, that was racist. That was really racist. Maybe she just really didn't see me, and like she's a whole human being with a driver's license, had to pass the same test as me, goes through the same trials and tribulations of driving. It's all stressful. We're all annoyed and stressed behind the wheel. I love driving actually, but I mean, it is stressful when other people can't drive. But you have to check yourself even alone when you're alone, because there aren't always going to be people around to check you.
Especially when you're alone.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to check yourself. Like that was racist. I really got to cut the shit because I don't want people to be racist towards me with little microaggressions of what they think they know about me. So I can't be racist to other people and do that to them either. You just can't. You can't. You literally can't say, treat me good, but I can treat you however I want. That's not how that works.
No, and you're so right about like checking yourself, and I think it's so important to admit that stuff to yourself, because that's where I feel like especially white people falter, is this like white fear or of being called a racist, or like having somebody be like calling you out in any way, like getting canceled. It's like you just have to, we have to normalize that this is this society that was built by people before us, and so this is the stuff in our brains. Like Jane Elliott
Exactly.
says, like you're only taught that white straight men built this country, and that's what's in the history books. That's what your social studies class was for everybody in America. So we are gonna, everyone is thinking these little racist thoughts, and you have to radically accept that you think that kind of way sometimes, and then like you said, check yourself and then be like, all right, well, now that I thought that, how am I going to recondition so I don't think that? And I think what you said is exactly right. Like thinking something like that when you're driving, you have to literally just take that. It's like reconditioning anything else, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like the reconditioning we have to do with like like body dysmorphia, or anything, or like thinking like social anxiety, like thinking people hate you. Like those are just my two ones that I'm constantly trying to recondition myself about. So the way that I do that is like stop and think, all right, is this real? Is this actual reality? Or is this a story I'm making up in my head? And racism is a story you're making up in your head because you've been taught that by this racist ass country.
Yeah, like a lot of it's going to start with education reform because they've got to throw away every single textbook, every single history book because they're not accurate. They need to start including the Japanese internment camps where they put all Asian people, they didn't care if you were Japanese or not, and the reparations they got from those. And so they need to talk about stuff like that. They need to talk about actual the way slavery went because they're like, oh, slavery was abolished and Abraham Lincoln's a hero and Harriet Tubman was great. And then we were all kumbaya after that. Absolutely the fuck not. That is not how that went down at all. Yeah, like that's where police came from, was slavery. It was to get your slaves back. It's literally where they came from. And so you've got to, and what sucks is that we have to do our own research and do our own history, backtracking, because you find out about all these people. And like I didn't even know, like, Malcolm X was bisexual, like kind of openly. Yeah, and they said not to mention it because they wanted to get people to rally behind him. But he absolutely had relationships with men. This is all real, proven shit. And so, like, a lot of your heroes are gay people, and a lot, like, people are. They don't think that human life is intersectional. All of this crosses, all of it, trans, gay, black, white. It's an intersection you're going to cross at some point, and we all have to do with each other. There's only one race, it's the human race, and colorism is something that was taught. And so it was made to make other people feel superior. And what I can't get over is the people, and this is because, not to be a bitch, but I'm kind of affluent. Like I grew up with money. So like not a lot of money. Like
I love you so much. I love this. You made me laugh all the fucking time, but some of the times you made me laugh the most is when you start off a sentence like "not to be a bitch," or remember when you were coming to that set, we were filming something together, and you were like, "I'm so sorry, I'm late. I had something else to do."
because I was late and I was just like, and I was dressed for the other thing. So I look like someone's lawyer.
I
And I
love
was,
it. You're a truth teller. You're an honest person. And that's why I think your comedy is so fucking good,
thank
because
you.
you just say things like they are. And I always know that I'm getting the truth of you. And we talked about before this, you go live on your YouTube channel and going live on my YouTube channel, us being live right now, not editing anything out. It's like if you're just like, what did we say, that if you're going live, it has to train you to not say anything problematic, but by doing that, you're just training yourself to be the good person that you want to be.
Yes, exactly. Like you can't just fire off at the mouth and say crazy shit. And we all have to start training ourselves not to be like this PC police nation, but to just think of what right and wrong are. You know what right and wrong are. You know this is right. You know this is wrong. You don't need a Bible to figure that out. You know what's right and what's wrong, because if it's so right, what you're saying, say it. Like, how come Disney can't say it? How come?
Oh,
Exactly. How come? Yeah, if you're so right, how come these goody two shoes like things can't say it? Why can't they say those things? It's because it's wrong, and you know it's wrong, and it offends a large group of people that aren't you, and so you know it's wrong. Like if you think you're better because you're white and this person's brown, why can't you say that on a grand platform without being fired? I think it's probably because it's wrong. You know, it's
yeah.
not because it's not because everyone's saying like people are trying to change your backwards beliefs. It's because you should change your backwards beliefs, because they are backwards. We are all like Black people. I hate that argument that like of this like white supremacy argument where it's like, oh, you know, Black, they're not intelligent, this and that. I'm like, okay, we have Oprah, Beyonce, the Obamas. What more proof do you need that we can learn anything that you can learn and do it better? Not to be a bitch, but yeah, I was like, but I'm saying Obama's the best president we ever had. He did make mistakes because he is the one who made those cages that those kids are in. So we can talk about that too. And so there were mistakes made, but he did get us gay marriage. So I do appreciate that, but I would rather not have kids in cages. So there's a balance
Yes.
there that I'm not loving. But I'm just saying, they have been pegging Black people as being unintelligent and stealing our culture for years. Like, why are all these white girls in Hollywood's lips and asses so big? Like, mine came that
Mm.
way. Just saying. Like, I'm just saying. If I look at a piece of bread, I've got my mom's ass, and so it's just not what I want, because I need to be a model. But it's a sweet ass though. I'm not gonna lie. But the point I was
She's a runway model and she's an activist model,
I'm
a
an
model for the
activist.
youth.
The
She's
thing is,
all of it.
I'm forced into activism though, because I'm intersectional. So whenever there's a feminist issue, people are like, "Oh, what do you think about them saying this about trans people?" And I have to speak up. And then they're like, "Oh, there's a Black issue," then I have to speak up. And then if it's what's the other thing I am? Oh, a queer issue. Like, yeah, it's just
Comedian.
yes, yes.
If there's
And
a
so if it's
comedian issue, I have to speak up.
I have to speak on it. And so I have to be this informed human being. And so I have never had the luxury of living on autopilot and getting to just float through life unscathed. Everything affects me. Every single thing affects me. Whatever legislation's going into effect, whatever anything's happening, it's always a direct attack or hit to me. And I'm like, Jesus, here we go. Fighting for more rights.
How do you
Um,
stay? That is really interesting to me. I've been thinking about my a friend from New York, Bowen Yang, who's the new cast member on Saturday Night Live now. He's the first openly gay man and the first Asian person on the
I
show.
love him. Tell him I love
He's
him.
so funny, and he's just one of the best fucking people. And I
He's the
was
reason the show's gotten so good this season. All the
right,
gay skits
all the
are
queer
killing me.
stuff. Julio Torres also is another gay writer they have. They're just killing it. And Sudie Green is like just an awesome. They're killing it. But I remember hearing him talk about on his podcast how he had to he was like in talking to his therapist about the pressure he was feeling about being an Asian person and a gay person in this huge mainstream platform, and the pressure that that put on him. And I wonder for you, since you just brought that up, of all the different, like the intersectionality you have to face to always feel like you are speaking on these issues, how do you stay so funny and so like positive, and like every time I see you, you are such a light of like welcoming energy. How does
Thank
that, have you just always been like that? Or is
Uh,
that something
I'm a,
you fight for?
I'm a very social person, so I love people. I think every moment can be a teaching moment, because someone's never met a trans person. They're gonna love me. Like, I already know they're gonna love me because I'm pretty easy. Like, I tell you the truth. I'm not trying to be anything I'm not. I think I come off as authentic. Like it's just, it is what it is. Like when we got on the call, I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm just waiting for this glue to set because this wig needs to be pulled off well. Like I just keep it real. It's a fucking wig. Everyone wears wigs in Hollywood, bitch. It's so much fun. I don't have to damage my real hair ever again. And so
Yes.
it's tea. Yeah, if I could look like this another way, but bitch, it's gonna fry that hair. Anyway, so get you a wig, kids. But I mean, the thing that keeps me grounded is I never forget what I'm here for. Like I want to make the world easier for the kid who wished they were me. Like if 9-year-old me could see me now, I would be beside myself with excitement. Like, oh my God, that's your life now. You get to just go and be like a queer person out in the streets and you're celebrated for it and people give you money for it sometimes. I love this. And it's like, I get to speak my mind freely. We all have a platform. Look, we're on YouTube right now, just live, being ourselves. And we all each have a platform with these computer phone things. I would have never imagined this. Like we are living in the Jetsons. Like no, we're not as far as we should have been, because we should probably figure some clean energy act moment happening. We should have flying cars and shit like that. But none of my,
Yeah.
not my fight, not my fight,
None
not
of
my
my
circus.
business. None of my
Yeah,
business.
no, not my circus, not my monkeys. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I'll let the scientists do that. But I just like I have to stay positive. Otherwise, it's that old saying: if you don't laugh, you'll cry. And so
Yeah.
it's either cry about everything, and I can't afford to spare the moisture because I'm in my 30s. So I need to keep the wrinkles away. So I can't just keep crying all the time about these injustices. I have to speak, and I have to be positive, and I have to hope for the best because things have always gotten better, always gotten a little bit better, and so they'll get better again. And it's not going to happen without us burning the city down, unfortunately.
Yeah. We got to burn it all down to build it back up. Like
Exactly.
that is so often what has to happen in like every huge movement, and or just if you think about ourselves as individuals, like when you think about like when you get your most depressed or most angry, it's sometimes you have to freaking go there and burn it all down to then put the pieces back together and then build yourself back up. Like that's what
Exactly.
we have to do as a society too.
It's true. It's absolutely true. And so, there was a point I was making about how I grew up with money,
Oh
and
yeah.
my mom always said that we're Black people with good credit. We're not actually rich, which I learned about credit from an early age because she said it all the time. Okay. But like I had my own horse. I had a BMW when I was 16. It was brand new. Like,
Yeah.
so I had stuff. So it's funny about these people claiming white supremacy and they want to protect the sanctity of like whiteness and like the greatness of it. I'm like, half of them are just like trash. I'm like, you don't even have anything. What? No, like you don't even have anything, bitch. Because I would fight for my horse and my BMW, but you don't even have those things. Not to be a whole bitch, but let me be a whole bitch really quick. You
Let me
don't
be a
have
whole bitch.
anything. What are you protecting? Your fucking trashy kids? What is this? I'm like,
Title of app. Let me be a whole bitch for a minute.
it's a confusing message. It's a confusing message. They're like, we're the best. I'm like, are you?
That's why we need education reform. Like we need to explain to these people. Like I just was touring doing my stand-up show this past year, and I mean the shit that you see in America is really like, oh, I had no idea this. I thought this was like a myth of like a television myth, or like what we liberal people like talk about is happening in the world. Like you really do see people, these like, white people living in the middle of nowhere Florida with these like pickup trucks and American flags on their cars.
With
And
testicles hanging off the back that are steel. I'm like, how small is your dick that you have to have a dick on your car? Like,
yes,
what the fuck is going on?
and exactly like you're saying, what are you trying to save? What America are you trying to salvage?
Yeah,
Like, just you own one gun and you feel like that's enough to like uh, throw the rest of the fucking marginalized people away for? Like, what are you? It is, we have to educate people to know that like the whole fucking thing can be better. It can be better for
exactly.
trans people. It can be better for Black people. It can be better for white people. It can be better for poor people. It can be better for uneducated people. Like, if we actually work at this, we can try to build a better
Yeah,
future.
better education, better healthcare, like actual healthcare. Like that's stuff that will get them to a even better level. Like injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. So when you're marginalizing and shitting on other people, it's only going to come down to you as well, because you're not the 1%. Those are the only people immune to any of this. And that is just a few people. I think it's like 60 people in the world that kind of count as the 1%, where they run everything. They own all the same media companies. They own all the companies in the world because they end up buying them all out. And so you're not those people. So when you speak for those people and pretend you're on that same level, girl, you've got this fucked up, and they have you completely manipulated as one of their soldiers to fight against something that's not real for you. You're broke. You're broke. We're all broke, and you're the brokest, and you don't want to fight for healthcare, and you've got 4 teeth. Girl, you need dental. You need dental. What the fuck is wrong with you? It doesn't make sense. I'm like, it's like talking to a brick wall. They're just like, they took our jobs. I'm like, oh yeah, Muhammad with his PhD took your job. Shut the fuck up. You need an education. You need something else. This is not working. It's not working for you. It's not working for me. And I have stuff. And so I have stuff, but it's still not working for me because I'm a whole Negro. Okay. And so I just don't, it's true. I don't appreciate them protecting nothing. You're protecting a color of your skin that I actually have. And so you're not protecting anything. Let me tell you, as someone who's a white person in skin tone, okay, like let's really talk about that. You're not protecting shit. It doesn't mean a goddamn thing, because if I don't have a better education or more knowledge or the connections to get to the top, I'm fucked too. It doesn't matter what your skin tone is. It matters about how you can get yourself to higher levels. And so you're not going to get there with your pickup truck and your gun saying Black people are garbage and I want kids in cages. Girl.
Mama, you can't even bite into an apple. You got 4 teeth. Like, come on.
When you can chew a meal, call me back. Okay? Then we'll talk. Then we'll talk. And everyone's gonna say that's super classist. But what I'm trying to drive a point home is that you're not protecting anything. Okay?
Exactly.
Because they could love that life. It's no one's coming for that life. You can totally stay in your little podunk for the rest of your life and no one's gonna give a fuck. I love less traffic in LA. I didn't tell you to move here. So please stay there, but also know that you have nothing to protect. You've got nothing.
Yes. And trying to build a better world for Black people where they're not threatened all the fucking time by the police. That's not taking anything away from your truck and your gun and your 4 teeth. Like, if, like you're saying, if yeah, maybe this is a little classist, but like, if that is the life that you want to live and you're happy doing that, trying to give other people rights is not taking away your
anything.
Life.
You literally have nothing. No one's taking it from you. You keep your gun. I don't give a fuck. But like,
it's like the whole administration, the whole Trump thing is like feeding off of those people who are not educated and who, and I'm not, that's not to say like, obviously there are very smart, very educated people who also voted for him and who have their own issues. But so a huge part of this was feeding off of uneducated white people. It was white supremacy, like 101. Like, we are going to try to make these people who really don't have much think that even the little that they have will be taken from them. It's this scarcity idea that so I know so many white people, especially in show business, but like just everywhere, living in fear, living with this fear that it's whatever they have is going to get taken from them. And it's like, girl, like, again, what do you even have?
Yeah, no, bitch, exactly. When they're like, oh, more leading roles for people of color and trans women. Oh no, my roles. I'm like, oh, are you Nicole Kidman? Shut the fuck up. You haven't made a hit. Like, you haven't been in a television anything in the 10 years you've lived here. I have a really good chance. There's a really good chance you won't be. And so you've got to maybe pick another career, waitressing, perhaps. And so, you know, if you feel like something's being, and here's the thing with that, that is a poverty mentality, and that is hard to break people from because it's a lack of abundance. Like, I kind of don't care about money, which is a privilege, because not to be a bitch, I'm gonna be a bitch. My parents will always bail me out. If things go wrong, my parents are always there to bail me out. And now that I'm older, I have ex-boyfriends who'll bail me out. And so like, yeah, like, it's just no matter what, like, I dated up. No, but I mean, and also my relationship with money has always been, it comes and goes. It's not that important. It's okay. Like, that's how I was raised. My mom was like, if you have money, do what you want with it. My mom used to get a new couch every year. And that's how, like, she'd get new carpets all the time, just like recarpet the house. Then she'd get hardwood floors, and then she'd get carpet around the hardwood floor. It was like, she was always doing something. So our house is really cute, but always updated. But because she said, well, you have to spend the money while you are here. She's like, you can't take it with you when you die. You can't take any of this with you. So try to have a good time while you're here. And so a lot of people are living in fear to have that good time, or they have a really scarce relationship with money, and they don't understand the power of abundance and the law of attraction. And I'm
Mm.
no expert, but I'm saying whenever I give, I get back tenfold. Like, I will go and drop a bunch of clothes off it out of the closet, because that's the one I give to, because they're pro-gay, and they give to AHF, which is the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, which is a super gay organization. Absolutely love them over there. But and they don't pay me to say that, I'm telling you the truth. No, so, but the thing is, when I go drop off like just like a box full of clothes there that I'm not going to wear again, and they can sell them and make money off of them, and it's going to help my people, which is great. I will come home to a package from like Lucky Brand Jeans or ASOS, and it'll be a box of clothes. And I'm like, and it wasn't scheduled. I didn't know it was coming, but they're like, hey, thanks for, being a great influencer for us. Here's a box of, and I'm like, wow, 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 wow. Like, when you give back, and don't give to get back. That's not how this works. But when I spend money, if I'm worried about it, I have a hard time coming across more money. Whereas when I spend money and I'm like, it's fine, I just, whatever, it's just money, it's fine, it always comes back. It always, always, always comes back. Like, I can't stress that enough. Just develop a relationship with abundance and understand what abundance is, and you will get more. When you're worried about having less, all you're going to attract is less. Whereas when you just think, I've always had, like, everyone, like, I'm a very lucky person. And it's because I say it all the time. I'm like, I'm a super lucky person. I've been so lucky
Mm.
my entire life. And you just start to believe that. And so everything that's
Yes.
lucky just starts to happen to you. It becomes your narrative. If you're like, oh, I'm sad and depressed all the time, that's going to be your narrative. And that's what people are going to think of. Whereas when people think of me, like, think of what you think of me. It's just like, oh, she's light and fun, and she's ridiculous, like, absolutely ridiculous, but honest. But I don't think I come across as someone who's just like scared of not having. And so I don't think I give that
Yeah.
energy off. And so that's a privilege, but it can be taught. It can absolutely be taught, because I didn't just come to that conclusion on my own. I was taught that. And so you can teach yourself. Like, when you're telling yourself not to be racist in your head, you can also say, and I'm always going to have money. I'm always going to be okay. I'm always going to have my health, and I'm always going to have love. You can always tell yourselves these things all day, every day. And that's how I stay so positive. I will never stop telling myself those things. The trolls come. I love trolls. I think they're obsessed with me. I think they want to fuck me so bad. And yeah,
They
I can only
always
imagine.
do. It's always that.
It's always that, because the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. So if you really didn't like me, you wouldn't respond at all, and you wouldn't give me any of the time of day. But since you felt the need to come over here and comment, I know you want to fuck. I know you want to fuck so bad. They want to bend me over this computer and just tear at it. Now, so that's my rant on that. I will shut up and give you room to talk on your own show.
Oh my God, no, I'm so fucking thrilled that you're here and that you're talking. And I don't want to put the onus on a Black woman in America, but God, I would love for you to write a book. You are so fucking smart and so you're so clear with this with these like inspirational, like sometimes like inspiration or positivity, especially living in LA, can be a little bit like eye roll. But like everything you just said was so like crystal clear information for people on how to know and do better, not just for all of society, not just for Black Lives Matter and for trans people and every group that we've said, but for individuals. Like I have suffered from that thing that you're talking about so many times, and I do think a big part of it is privilege. Is my privilege of like I will think to myself like, oh, shit's not working out, or operating from a place of scarcity, or like being negative. And it is so fucking true that if you do that same thing that we were talking about, where you take a moment to recondition yourself and say, okay, I'm thinking a negative thought, or and now I'm going to take that negative thought and I'm going to try to think something that I'm grateful for instead. Operate from a place of gratitude rather than scarcity. Like you're saying, like if I can make a list of I'm healthy, I have great friends, I enjoy this small thing about my life, like I get can go get coffee every day and that's a freedom that I have. Like whatever it is, like these small little things, you build that up and think about what that is. And I think another thing is like, especially as queer people, I think a big like thing that we do is to contact each other and like try to be like, I think it's different for us because we both do comedy. I think for a lot of queer people, they try to be funny and instead it just is negative. And
Yeah.
it's and that can manifest in you and become like I have several friends who I'm very tight with who I love, but a lot of times if I text them, I'll be like, how you doing? And like, oh, this is going wrong and that's going wrong. You know, the world's burning, no big deal. I hate myself, but whatever. And I'm like, no, but what you're doing is actually contributing to your own unhappiness. You can say the world's burning, but you don't have to say that you hate yourself.
That's where like these phony positive people in LA that are posting positive things like I'm positive, good vibes only. Good vibes only is the most negative shit I've ever heard in my life,
Right?
because you can't help what happened to you today and how you feel about it. You're telling people to you're policing people's feelings about how they should feel about something that happened. And so instead of good vibes only, you need to turn it to how you can be of service. How can I be of service to someone that has bad vibes? And so if you're in my house and it's a party and like you're just not feeling so great, it's not, hey man, good vibes only, like chill out, shut up, fuck your feelings. No, none of that. It's how are you? What happened? Like, what happened that was so terrible that you can't have fun at a party? What happened? Not good vibes only. How are you? How are you?
Yeah.
Ask someone how they're doing, figure out why they feel that way, and try to be of service. Stop being such a selfish piece of shit. Everyone's so fucking selfish. They make everything about them. Guess what? Newsflash, we're all the protagonist in our own story. We are all the star in our own movie. We're all the star in our own book. And so the second you think this is all revolving around you, you've got everyone fucked up. And so you have to
Yes.
think about how you can contribute to someone else's narrative to where they can help themselves be a better star in their own story. It doesn't have to be about you all the fucking time.
You are really cracking shit open in me today.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I just wrote in my journal that I have made myself the antagonist of my own story. And that
Mm.
is and I have to admit, a big part of that is white privilege. Like I want so badly for people to notice me, to pay attention to me, to feel bad for me. I think a lot of it is like the little gay boy in me that didn't have any friends from like kindergarten through eighth grade.
Same.
That is just like,
I was like,
yeah,
I was that
yeah,
same boy.
yeah, just like desperate for people to, I don't know, pay attention, and like, which also is probably a big part of why we do comedy and performing now. But
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, it just
I love
this
attention. Go on.
yeah, if anyone wants to just send us hearts right now in the comments, that'd be great. If anyone just wants to talk about how
Mwah.
hot we look right now in the comments, that'd be
Right?
beautiful.
Let's just get them in there. Yeah. You can't tell, but I'm so thin. I'm so
She
thin.
is so thin. And I started Whole30 today, so I'm also so thin.
Yes. Not that weight has any value, kids. It's just we're in Hollywood and there's a lot of pressure. So it crushes us into tiny diamonds.
Yes, and unfortunately the calling called us, and so we do have to do modeling because
Do
that's what
model.
God called on us to do. Oh.
I'm gonna look like this in 10 years. Anyway, that's perfectly fine.
But yeah, I've been going through like a depressing time, and I was like, oh shit. I had a very good friend sit me down recently and was like, you are in a victim narrative. Like
Yeah.
you and that is like again a big part of that's white privilege. Like I want so badly for people to notice or pay attention to me that I create problems for myself so that I can feel like I overcome them and then I can be proud of myself and be like, oh, you were in a bitch, you were in a depression spiral, or you didn't think you could get that done today and you did it. And now you're feeling like joy rather than just experiencing joy, which the world fucking has to offer. Again, not in scarcity. The world has to offer in abundance. Like joy is fucking everywhere. So
Everywhere.
I'm so glad that you said that. And also, I want to go back to what you said about when you put stuff out into the world and then it comes back for you. I think a lot of times, and this is another white privilege thing, is like if you were to go and donate those clothes and you came back to your house and the lucky jeans weren't there the second time or nothing was there, I think a big narrative for a lot of people is that, oh, well, that happened for someone else, but I'm just unlucky and it's not happening for me. And
Don't do
that's,
that.
don't do that.
You don't do that. And I don't expect anything to be there. That's the point. You have to give without the expectation to get back, because you have to train yourself to do that, because it feels good to give. I think it feels great to give. I love buying my friends gifts. I spend so much money on friends gifts a year because I just want them to have the things that make me happy as well. Because when I see something, I don't think, I literally have every piece of clothing you could ever imagine. If you need me to dress up like a cowboy and like what's something that's not racist? I know.
What's something that's not racist?
Right? I was gonna say an Indian. I was like, well, cowboys and Indians are kind of obsolete right now. Let me think of something else. If you
Like
needed
a
me to dress
space
up,
alien?
here we go. If you needed me to dress up as Alanis Morissette, I could in 1 minute. If you needed me to dress up like Marilyn Monroe, I could do it in 1 minute. If you needed me to dress up as Mulan, I could do it in 1 minute. Just because I have everything. I love things. I collect clothes because everyone has a collection of something. I collect clothes. I love clothes. But I'm a model. I live my life in clothes. I don't expect everyone to do that. But there are things I see and I just know, I'm like, I already have something that makes me happy. I would love to buy something for someone else. It makes me feel good to give them something that makes them happy and brings them a spark of joy. And I'm like, it's not about birthdays. It's not about the pressure of a gift of a day. You can just buy your friends things whenever. Like tomorrow's not promised for anyone. Do it today. Do it today. Tell people to fuck off today. Buy for that person a gift today. Tell your mom you love her today, you know? Even if she's not here, tell her you fucking love her today because maybe you did. And so that's maybe something that can make your day a little better. And so something that for you, since you said you're looking to, well, you make yourself the antagonist in your story, instead of looking to have people feel sorry for you, I never want anyone to ever feel sorry for me. And that's why I do hold my head so high and why I do dress like this. And I carry myself in this regard because I don't want anyone feeling sorry for me. I want them to be proud of me. Like that's my trans friend. Like they're so proud to know me because I walk through the world like an angel. And so I'm not an angel. I'm very much the devil, but I am a sinner. I am a sinner. I go to FUBAR on Thursday nights and I'm a nasty bitch. And so I'm just keeping it real, kids. I'm keeping it real. The kids don't know what FUBAR is and I'm not going to tell you. So
Google it, children.
Google it. You'll
Google
see.
it.
The BFD, honey. So what I'm saying is, yeah, so I'm not I'm not this Christ-like figure, but I'm someone who walks through the world that I want my people and the people that I represent to be proud of. And because people, all the stories on TV in Hollywood, they're always feel sorry for the trans community. Like that Pose is a whole feel sorry for us anthem. And so I love the show. Don't get me wrong. I have friends on the show. I have friends who write for the show. I think it's a great show. And they have to tell that story, unfortunately, because it's trans history. It's a real thing that happened to us. Like when you see that we weren't accepted in gay clubs and we weren't accepted anywhere. But it helps to show that narrative because it shows where we started and how we got here. And so we have to tell those stories. So I'm not knocking Pose, but I'm saying Hollywood only casts those roles now. It's always been like that. It's always trans hooker number one. I played a hooker maybe 9 times in the 6 years I've lived here. You know how ridiculous that is? And I'm like the Hillary Banks, if kids know what, if kids know what Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is, I'm like the Hillary Banks of like Black trans women. And so that's a better suited role, but they've never given us that opportunity. They've never made us the spoiled rich girl, you know, that's kind of funny. But so what I'm saying is,
yeah, it's great. It really is.
So you're getting a little choppy.
Sorry,
you're choppy.
Go ahead. I interrupted you.
No.
Yeah, the internet's going in and out. Sorry.
No.
I think we're okay now.
Well, the point is, the point I'm making is,
okay.
Yeah, we got it. Are we back? Is it my internet? It's not my internet.
It's probably my busted ass computer.
Right. Sorry, kids.
Let me make sure this is off. Sorry, kids. I'll edit this out of the podcast version. I think it's
Oh, it's
okay
funny
now.
because it's working now.
Okay, maybe we're okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we're
Okay,
good.
work.
All right.
Now, so the whole point I'm making is they make us the antagonists. They made people feel sorry for us all the time. Like, to where when we say Black trans lives matter, they're like, we always have to care about you guys. And it's like, no, it's just, maybe like, I think people have been fed the wrong message. You should have been proud of us all along. Like,
Yeah.
despite everything that's happened, we're still fucking here. And
Yeah.
I told Kate Bosworth this, because I did her little live the other day, to name drop. But I told her, I said, when you stop counting on Black trans women to lead your pride parades and you start letting us walk your major runways like Louis Vuitton and Gucci, that's when you'll see real change. When you see us as leading roles in a movie where we're an action hero or a princess or something that has weight to it, where people are going to regard it as a respectful figure, that's when you'll see change happen. But as if you always keep us down and out, you're always going to think we're down and out, and you're never going to understand our causes or why you should be thinking that we're equal to you.
Yeah. And you're
Yeah.
so right about the narrative of all of it is like, yeah, like Pose is excellent. It's excellent that there's so much visibility right now because of that show for Black trans women. But like also it's like a matter of showing Black trans women and all trans women as leaders, as runway models, but also like you're saying, as the villain of a story, or as the antagonist, or as the rich lawyer, or as the like, why is like there could be an Elle Woods story with you, like
Oh
shit, did we just Hollywood, if you're listening.
yeah. I would love that. What, like it's hard? I could it's really, yeah, it really is easy just to put us anywhere. Like I told my agent, because he's always giving me like these leads and like these, sub leads, what are they called? Co-star roles. And I'm like, I'll take like janitor in the back. Like I'll take the movie attendant. I'll take the PE teacher that's just, in the back. I don't have to be the star of every fucking story. It's just there should be trans people in every story, because I never ever look in the mirror or talk to anyone without being trans. I never don't have a trans narrative. And so when I never see trans people as part of the narrative, I think, where the fuck am I in this? I don't, and yes, I'm making it about me because no one thinks we exist. No one thinks we exist. They're like, it's like this fabled thing. Oh, a trans person. I'm like, actually, we've been around for thousands of years. Like there's literally recorded history of thousands of years of trans people, two-spirited people, non-binary people have been around forever, just as long as everyone else. It's just we've been erased from history books because the Nazis erased us, the Puritans erased us, everyone erases us. And acts like we were never here. But if you look way back in time, we start just where everyone else started, pretty much.
Yeah. And it's like
frustrating.
about fucking time that trans people are given the representation they deserve, and the fucking empathy they deserve, and the pride they deserve. It is pride right now. And I love what you
Right.
said about like, yeah, about like being proud and having like, I think so many people, especially straight people, still don't understand the concept of pride. And I think what you said is like earlier is such a good example of, we have to be proud of ourselves. We can't, like what you said, like I never want people to feel sorry for me. I want to take that. I'm gonna fucking. I'm gonna listen to this again back later and like we were talking about, like recondition myself, because I do want people to feel sorry for me, and that sucks. Like I don't want to think or feel like that. I know that it sucks. I don't want to be friends with somebody who wants people to feel sorry for them. Like that's just the truth. Like I want to be friends with somebody who wants people to be proud of them.
Yeah,
And
don't you want to be someone that you want to be friends with? It's the same thing in relationships. Like if I'm not someone that I want to date, I shouldn't be dating. You froze.
oh, now you're frozen.
There we go. Yeah, I was
Oh,
like, you're
there we go.
frozen.
I'll fix
Frozen,
all
honey.
this for the podcast version. I'll fix all of this.
All good. All good. But
Um,
go
uh,
on.
yeah, just that was it. That was it. Basically, is just everything that we're saying. Since the internet is being shoddy, maybe we should close it out. But do you have any slumber party stories that you want to share with the
I
oh,
don't. I've only been to like one or two slumber parties. Oh, you know what? I had a slumber party in high school. I was a cheerleader, a male cheerleader. And
yes.
the other ones would come over, and the other male cheerleaders, and they would come over and we would watch like Mommy Dearest and eat like baguettes. And it was really fun. We'd go to the store and just like get snacks, and we'd watch like Mommy Dearest, we'd watch Hocus Pocus, and then we'd just watch these cult classic gay films that we just love. We'd watch Tu Wong Fu, and my mom would come in and check on us like, you guys want pizza? We're like, let's get pizza. Because that's when I could eat carbs because we were working out a lot. Yeah,
I
my
know,
teen
girl.
body.
I was a swimmer in high school, so I mean, I would just get fucking McDonald's like every day.
And you
I mean,
could.
it's not the same. It's not the same.
No. No.
Wait, did you grow up in California? Where are you
No,
from?
I'm from Woodbridge, Virginia. Just outside DC.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. When did you move here?
First, when I was 18, I moved to Miami. I lived there for 5 years. And then I moved to New York City and I lived there for 3 years. And I've lived here for 6 years.
Oh my God. Wait, what years were you in Miami?
2005 to 2010.
We were there at the same time.
Oh my
I,
God.
yeah, I was there. Oh, yeah, I was there 2007 to 2010, 2006 to 2010.
Did you ever go out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
I
probably met
wonder,
you.
we probably met way back
Did you
when.
know
That's
did you
so
know
fun.
Dustin Refka, the party promoter with the mohawk?
Probably, but I can't remember.
Because I was a drag queen with his traveling party. My
Oh,
name was Lucky D.
Lucky D.
I'm on the
Where did
first season of
you,
RuPaul's Drag Race.
are you really?
Yeah, and the colorful queens who didn't quite make it. That's my audition tape. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna rewatch that. Wait,
Bitch.
did you ever go
I've
to
been
Buck
on TV
15?
forever.
Yeah, she remains booked. What did I say at the top of this podcast?
Right? I didn't get booked for that, but they put me on TV. So that
But
was my first
you
TV
were
appearance.
there. Did you ever go to Buck 15? Do you remember Buck
Oh my God, I
15?
loved Buck 15. Then they turned it into Halo, right? Or something.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
you
God,
could
yeah.
hang on the rafters.
Oh my God, no, Halo was somewhere else. Buck 15 was above Score,
Yes.
which used to be in the middle of Lincoln Road. People don't know that because Score moved to like
By where
Espanola Way
Twist
now.
is.
Huh?
Oh, is it? Isn't Score like closer to Twist now?
Yes.
It's like
Yeah.
on the main.
Yeah, it's on like Washington now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, but oh my God, that's so fucking crazy. I loved Buck 15. That's where they played all like the indie music. Did you ever go to Pawn Shop in downtown?
I went maybe twice, I think. Loved
Okay,
Pawn
work.
Shop.
Work.
And
Yeah, that was the
one. Wasn't there another one downtown, like around 2008, 2009, that started popping off? Because like we would always go to South Beach, and then all of a sudden downtown started to get really hit.
it was the one, didn't it have like an after hours?
Probably.
I can't
Oh my God,
remember.
this is taking me down memory lane. Buck 15 is where I heard Lady Gaga for the very first time. I will
I
never
think
forget.
probably me too.
Yeah, I remember dancing and someone was like, "This is someone named Lady Gaga." Wow,
Yeah.
we sound really old.
I know. We will talk about this again later.
Yeah,
In depth.
we will. We will have a major Miami convo. Arisce, thank you so much for joining us here at Slumber Party. This was so fun. It's always so fucking great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and like I said earlier about you being welcoming, I'm gonna get a little sappy for a second, but like I've always had a hard time in the comedy world because I don't know, and it scares me. And the first time I did the Comedy Store, you were on that lineup, and I came home and told my boyfriend that night, I was like, I was really intimidated by everybody. I kind of didn't talk to anyone except for this one girl named Arisce who was so kind to me and like went out of her way to be sweet and welcoming to me in the green room. And I fucking will never forget it. And
Oh my
yeah,
God, I didn't even know.
yeah, I was so fucking nervous. Like I think I shit like 16 times that night because I had
Ah,
never been at the Comedy Store, and it was just so scary. So thank you for being such a fucking light all the time. And
I just
where
love
can
you.
I love you too. Where can people follow you, and where can people pay you if they want to send you money?
Oh my God. At my Venmo is at Arisce-Wanzer, my first and last name. So Venmo me whatever you want. I love all types of cash. If each of you give me $1, I'll be so rich, girl. Thank you. You'll be helping a trans woman of color. And then
Yes.
You can follow me at Aristocrat on all platforms, which is like Twitter, Instagram. I barely use Snapchat. I don't like it, but I have a Snapchat. And yeah, Aristocrat everywhere.
Love it. The Instagram is lit. The pictures are gorgeous.
Thank
Um,
you.
thank you
And
so
I'm,
much.
yeah,
Say
I was
again.
gonna say, and I'm a meme queen. So you can look at all my memes and my stories. So
Yes, yes. Thank you again for joining us. It's great to see you, and hopefully I'll see you again soon, out about in the world.
yeah, absolutely. Yes, you
Yeah.
will. Okay. Love you, honey.
All right. Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.